Hey, and to like that though. So in like terms of having a new team, there's really only two new players that are in your rotation here. And I'm just thinking that after again 27 games, that old adage of when like folks were in like a college, that after so long that you're not a freshman anymore or you're not a rookie anymore. And so is it to that point though that with these two new players, has it gotten to a time that you've seen everything that you can get from them, that you know who they are, that you understand this group and kind of going forward, or is it always you're getting new information and it always changes?
I think I understand who they are. It's a matter of them understanding who they are within what we are as a system and as an organization, as a team. I think also what they've shown, those players have shown, is an ability to do very good things on the floor. Now it just has to be consistent, and that's the mark of a good team. A sign of a good team is when, your role players and your rotational players are consistent in what they do. And I think we've seen what Steph, Lou can do. Lou has had a couple of season highs, and Steph has had some really important games and moments. But now it's about putting those moments together collectively and consistently. So yes, they've shown what they can do, but now I think they themselves have to realize that they have what it takes to be in that rotational spot and just have confidence and consistency in that.
And just like this, high class one from like me here, just in terms of with like Cooper and the challenges that she presents. You've guys sort of faced her now in these past two games here. I understand that you guys have sort of moved to this team defense, which has been outstanding for you. But just in terms of like, is there times where you just need, and I know this happens on offense when like players can sort of get a bucket when you need it. Is there times when you just need a player just to say, like, to be a lockdown defender and just say like, I got this person, and like she ain't gonna score or something like that, or like something crazy like that?
First of all, personally, it's good to talk to you. I'd talk to you in a couple of days, but yes, it is. I think when you're a competitor, that's the nature of just being a hooper. Like, I want to lock down a player, and I have the ability to lock down a player. And what you alluded to, and what we've kind of been, hanging our hat on, is our team defense. And so even in those moments when Copper is, isoing us, or she's kind of going full steam ahead, we have to rely on our team defense and our help side defense, and the communication of understanding and the trust that comes with understanding how our team defense can work if we are in our correct spots, in our strength spots. And, with these elite players that we're guarding, with the system that we have, a lot of times it's not about stopping the player, more so than taking them off of their sweet spots. And it does to have a player have the ability to have someone on the team who you can say like, this is a lockdown defender. Yeah, that's a luxury to have. I think we have a couple of athletic players on our team, and good defenders on our team who can kind of guard with their minds, take away angles and things of that nature. But I think we have to continue to rely on our team aspect of our defense in order to get the job done. So yeah, one-on-one individual fundamental is important. You got to keep people in front of you, but also when that breaks down, our second line of defense has to be there, and we have to continue to rely on one another.
Awesome, Coach. Thank you. Appreciate it.
No problem. Thanks.
All right, thanks, Percy. Let's go over to Jeff Brown. Jeff, go ahead.
Hey, Coach, how are you doing today?
Good to see you again yesterday too.
For sure.
Yeah.
It's good to be back in person.
Right. Felt all right. Felt different.
Yeah.
So
looking over the roster recently, I kind of realized Jewel is now actually your third most experienced player on the team. And which is kind of crazy to me because, probably like you, I still look at her as, kind of that young player. But I guess, would you equate some of these recent struggles to the fact that this team has lost a lot of veteran experience?
I think so. you think about what seasons, like championship seasons, bring. And it's just the experience of going through the day-to-day of whether it's practices, whether it's tough games, whether it's being in series, whatever it is, like you learn a lot. And, you know, whether you're in year 1 or 2 within a championship level team, or, you know, 5, 6, like there's something to say about having gone through those experiences. And now we are having players who haven't quite been through those experiences, you know, and even understanding that it does take veterans to, it is important to have veterans on your team, and especially during moments of adversity, like what we're experiencing right now, because they can point to times that they've been through it and kind of relate back to, okay, this is how we kind of weather the storm. This is what we can do. Let's stay the course. You know, that there's something to say about having veterans and having that experience within what we've already done in this organization, to be in your locker room. And to some extent, the knowledge that I've had as a player is, you know, something that I can kind of relate back to and relay over to them as well. It's important, you know what I mean? Just to have a buffer and to have a, you know, checks and balances in that locker room, so to speak, to speak to the experiences of what it takes to overcome or what it takes to win in this league.
Definitely. And then I guess I wanted to take us back a few years to 2016 and 17 while you're still playing on the team.
Okay.
And I guess, what do you remember, you know, those 2 years you guys lose in single elimination games. Stewie's a rookie that first year, and, you know, and Jules just coming into her second year, and they're growing, obviously, they're developing. I guess, what do you remember from those years as far as the progress of the team? But, you know, still wasn't quite at that championship level yet.
I remember that we were such a tight-knit group. Though we were, you know, we know that something special was cooking up. We had fun. You know, we really played for one another, and we played, you know, we had this good chemistry, camaraderie off the court. And you know, our days were so rewarding, because I know that the reason why I was going so hard was because of my teammate right next to me. And I think that that's what I remember about those times. And, you know, it's interesting about life and about being a basketball player. Sometimes you don't remember wins and losses. You just remember moments and feelings. And the moments and feelings that I remember from that team, where it was, you know, we were learning the system, we were getting better every day. We, you know, we had a tough stretch on that road the 1 year, and, you know, coaching change, and we made the playoffs, and, you know, like things had happened that kind of brought us together. And the moments that I remember from that team were just like, it was fun. Like it was enjoyable. It was rewarding. And it is some of the best times that I'll remember, like wearing a Storm jersey, you know.
Awesome. And then last one from me. Since 2016, since they've gone to this single elimination playoff format, we've seen 8 upsets through the first 2 rounds, including multiple times of the 3rd and 4th seed. I guess, what are your thoughts on single elimination games?
Jeff, don't even put that in my spirit, bro. Oh, don't give me that stat now.
It's a stressor, I know.
Don't even throw that at me. What are my thoughts about single elimination games? Okay, I get nervous about them, honestly, because you're in a one game, you know. In a series, we're good. We can figure out where we can adjust. Like there's a small window of, you know, of error that can happen within a single elimination game. And it's stressful, you know what I mean? And I think for this particular team, again, not looking ahead, not looking at seeding, whatever it is, I'm going to continue to say we have to be playing better, and we have to be playing, feeling good in how we're playing, and put us, you know, anywhere And as long as we're playing at a high level, I'm going to continue to roll with my team, so start not being fearful of that single elimination game, but understanding that, those games, you have to almost play perfect games in order to get through those.
Thanks,
Awesome.
Jeff. Appreciate it. We gotta keep moving. We gotta get to Sue here. We'll go to Fago Franklin, and then Jim, you'll be after that.
Hey, how you doing, Coach?
What's up, Fago?
Nothing much. What does it mean to you that you could see the Storm use the White House platform to talk about the topics that are important to this organization?
It means a lot. Understanding that, we are professional athletes. We're in a realm of, we play basketball for a living, but understanding that we're here for a bigger purpose. Use our voices, use our platform for good, and making sure we amplify and highlight, being a voice to the voiceless. Those are things that are important to us in our organization, and to have an opportunity to express those things on the world's biggest stage and at the White House. I think these are opportunities that we will never forget, and moments that we don't take for granted.
And my next question, if I may, how do you contain Candace Parker?
Just honestly getting into her space. She's very a veteran, savvy veteran, pump fakes, get to the rim, she can shoot the three. So, just being attentive to the scout and understanding that she has different tricks in her bag, staying in front of her, staying down on her counter moves and things of that nature. And honestly, kind of putting her in movement on the other side of the floor, and making sure she's constantly defending. So tire her out so that she doesn't have, the energy to do what she can do offensively.
Thank you, Coach.
No problem.
Thanks, Fago. And let's go to Jim Capel. We'll wrap things up. Jim, go ahead.
Oh, I'm waiting for Sue Bird.
Oh, copy that. All right, then we are good to go. All right.
He said, I don't
Thanks,
want
Coach.
you, I
We
want
appreciate
Sue.
it.
See ya. Ready.
All right, we're set with Sue. Let's start out with Percy Allen, and Jeff Brown, you'll be next. Go ahead, Percy.
Hey there, Subert. It seems as if you guys are getting the similar look offensively on your 3-pointers. But obviously they're not falling at the same rate in these past 9 games that they did earlier in the season. You've been through this several times. I mean, just I don't know, just your thoughts on when teams, and it's not just a player, but when teams kind of go through this, sort of these lulls like this, extended lulls, how do you get out of them?
You just keep shooting.
Yeah.
This team, our team currently, I think, has an identity, and 3-point shooting is a big part of that. And really the quickest way to answer the question is when you're making those threes, when the team's making them, you're not thinking about why you're making them. You're not thinking about how you're making them. You're just shooting when you're open. And so when, individuals start to miss, or when teams start to miss, I think it's a trap to try to answer the question of, oh, why is this happening, or how is this happening? You just got to keep taking the same shots. They're good shots. They're all in rhythm. They just happen to not be dropping. So you just can't let that impact the next game or the next shot.
There you go. Hey, and just this last thing from me here. It was Stewie last night who touched on just the things that she would like to see in these next 5 games. And the one thing that she really touched on was just this idea of just having fun out there, of just, she didn't really want to talk about pressure part of it, but just, playing well, having fun, being loose and goosey. And so I would throw the same thing at you. Just what is it that you would like to see from this team in these next 5 games?
Yeah, I mean, I feel similar in that the all that matters is, we get back to a place where we are having fun and we do start to play a little better. the reality is when you get to this point in the season, people like the conversation around these games changes, right? It becomes more about the standings and with each win and each loss, what happens. But it's still just a game. The same way it was a month ago, the same way it was 2 months ago, and the only difference is the conversation around it. So I think for us, we just need to not get caught up in that and just try to get back to what, got us to the position we were in heading into the Olympic break. And that was just playing our game and playing well. And even in games where we weren't playing quite well, just never really losing sight of what I touched on earlier, which was our identity. And I say all that to say, and I said this to the team, I really don't care what place we finish in. Obviously the first and second seed are really important in this league, the way the playoff system is set up, but I really don't care as long as we're playing well. I would prefer to be playing well than anything else. So the focus needs to be that. And if it means, sadly that we, unfortunately I should say that we lost, whatever it is, 4 out of 6. Yeah, that's a bummer. But if we get to the other side of this and get to a place where we're playing well again, that's all that matters.
Wow. Okay. All right, Sue. Thank you.
Thanks, Percy. Let's go Jeff Brown, and then Fago, you'll be next.
So I was looking over the roster recently, and it actually kind of came to my surprise that Jewel is now the 3rd most experienced player on your team this year. You've lost a lot of veteran experience. Would you equate, the loss of some of, those players to the struggles in this losing streak, or having just, more having to rely on all these younger players?
I think it's just a product of, what I find fascinating in this whole world of professional sports and media and the questions and the narratives is, coming into this season, nobody thought we were going to be in this position. And this wasn't like bulletin board material by any means. I don't think any of us talked about it. It wasn't a motivating factor. We knew what we had in our locker room. But I do find it fascinating that coming into this season, all anybody talked about is the players we lost and how are we going to ever. And now all of a sudden, we're in the top, 3 spots in the league. And now it's a different conversation. So I find that very interesting. We always knew what we had in the locker room. And I don't think the recent struggles are having anything to do with, coming off an Olympic break where we had a bunch of people go to the Olympics. So we're one of the few teams having to deal with that and just getting back into, I guess, the swing of things. I mentioned it on one of my other Zoom medias, we really haven't practiced together, and that's important. These things are important. And so I think there's just been some clunky moments within the team, like within our play, within games. And a lot of that is just kind of, again, getting back on the same page. So yeah, part of that is what you're saying. And part of that is we've been a new team since the start of the season, trying to, and I talked about this as well, just on this journey of a season, trying to figure out our identity and going from there. I think we have established that. And now we just got to get back to playing the way we were. And I mean, the arrows are pointing in that direction for us. I think, we just got to deal with the last couple of losses and move on and learn from them.
Definitely. And then since the WNBA has gone to single elimination in 2016, we've had 8 lower seeds upset the higher seeds there, including multiple times with the 3rd and 4th seed. I guess, what are your overall thoughts on, the single elimination games, and especially in the second round, like for the, a team that finishes 3rd? Yeah,
I mean, I feel like I've been fairly vocal. I've only been asked this question, every so often, but no, the 3rd and the 4th team, and I'm not saying that I said this when we were 1st and 2nd. No, the 3rd and the 4th team should not have to play single elimination. And I think, the way this playoff system has kind of unfolded, that's shown itself. I think it does need to change. There were reasons why we went to this playoff system, and there were valid reasons. And I think we've done it, we've tried it, and now we see it's not right to play an entire season only to have, one game. And in this league, any team in one game can beat another team. There is there's home court advantage, but once it's just one game, anybody can beat anybody. So I think all of us in this league understand that and would love to see some sort of system that allows for a series, even if it's a 3-game series, to happen between the 3rd and the 4th seed and whoever it is they play. I mean, I've been vocal from the start. I think 8 teams making the playoffs is too much. 8 out of 12, that's a lot of teams making the playoffs. So I would love for it to just maybe be 6 and then find a way to do that. But I understand that not everybody agrees with me on that.
Awesome. I was actually going to ask about the 6-team playoffs, and so I'm glad you answered.
I mean, that to me is an answer. I don't know any other league where, I'm not great at math, but I know that's over 50%. I don't know any other league where over 50% of the league makes the playoffs. I do appreciate, what I do appreciate about 8 teams making it and having that first round be single elimination is I do think there's, what other sports call the wild card games. And I think there can be excitement, around that, and that can drive a lot of excitement. But then once that wild card round is over, it needs to go into a series.
Definitely. Thank you, Sue.
No problem.
Thanks, Jeff. Let's go to Fago Franklin, and then we'll wrap up with Jim. Go ahead, Fago.
Hey, how you doing, Sue? What do you think this team has to improve on to make a deep playoff run?
Probably just a level of consistency. I think we show signs of a championship team. And, the difference between those teams that kind of separate themselves is the consistency in the play, not having lulls within games, within quarters. And that's not the same as, mistakes are always going to happen. So you have to be able to play through those as well. But I think just having lulls at different points in the game is something that we can improve on.
What makes Mercedes Russell such a dynamic player on both sides of the ball?
I think you said it. I think she is dynamic. I think at her size, there's not very many players who can do the things she does. And I think there's actually even more to her game that we haven't even seen yet. But she just has, on top of all of that, we could sit here and talk about her size, her ability to move on the court, guard multiple positions. But to me, it's the fact that she's thinking the game. Like she sees the game, she thinks the game, she understands the game. And that I think goes a long way with how she plays within our team, how she's seemingly in the right spot at the right time, setting the right screen at the right time, making the right play and right pass. She just has a high IQ, and you add that on top of all of the other things we just talked about, and I think that's what makes Mercedes special.
And my last question is, what was that experience like meeting President Biden?
It was wonderful. It really was a great day. I said it was a beautiful day outside the White House, and it ended up being a once in a lifetime experience inside. Obviously, it's been well documented that he kind of went rogue on the plans and took us to the Oval Office and showed us some things that you don't necessarily get to see on a typical White House visit. So it made it really special. And of course, there's also the aspect of having a women's team be invited, be welcomed into the White House again, to be honored and acknowledged. All of those things are really important. We've been lacking that in the last couple of years. And I think, when people see a women's team being honored in that way, it goes a long way. These things matter. So it's nice to, again, be welcomed into the White House.
Thank you, Sue.
Thanks, Fago. And let's wrap up with Jim Capel. Jim, go ahead.
Fantastic that you won your 5th gold medal. That was amazing. And also that you went and you were at Biden's. That was great too. So what are your plans for next year or after this season?
I don't have any. I'm still here. We still got a couple games left. So no plans just yet.
Okay. And do you think you'll compete in the next Olympics in 2024 in France?
No, I don't.
Oh, and you are so great.
Thanks.
All right, thanks, Jim. And thanks, Sue. We appreciate your time, and we will see everybody tomorrow.
Yeah.